I wanted to talk about these pieces quickly. So I'm sure many people will recognize this as being a waterfall and an agile delivery cycle. This is from the APM body of knowledge. So when we talk about, I've put at the top there metagame. The reason I used metagame because I wanted to use a slightly different analogy to the fire service all the time. And being a gamer, it's something that comes to me, and it's understanding for a metagame anyway. You might play a game or do something like that repeatedly. But what you need to do, particularly in competitive games of any kind, whether that's chess or something, is understand what is everyone else doing at the moment that could affect my game. That's the important thing. What are the most powerful things at the moment? What are the weakest things at the moment? And using that information to affect your project or program. So in this case, and again, talking about strategic view, can I, at any stage of the project, across any of these life cycles, clearly describe with a degree of accuracy what my aim is, what my outputs are going to be, and what the benefits are, and how we're going to get there? Can I clearly say that? And that should change at every stage of the project. It should never be the same answer. There should always be some variation. Something will always have changed, whether it's something you've done or something that's affected you. But that for me is a clear strategy. Can I say what we're going to do, what's going to be the output, and what the benefits of us doing this are still? If I can't, then it does raise questions about the need for the project in my mind. As I said, one thing about this as well is that evaluate line that I put in the last one is about constantly checking back on that information. No information is static in the world we live in. And I find sometimes that project management documentation, if you look at it in that tactical view very close up, can stay quite static. And some of the ways it's built, some of the templates you use can encourage you to fix information in place and say, this is our point of view now, and that is what we're going to keep as we go forward. And that's not great. For me, it always needs to be updated. Your business case, all those pieces of information as you go along need to be reviewed and constantly updated. And having that strategic view again helps you to do that. Now, one thing I will say, and this is quite important in the later stages of a project or program, if you start looking back and saying, why were we successful? Why did we fail? What were the elements here? It's really important to be able to go back and look at what information you had at the time when you made those decisions. Now, I will take us back to the fire service and say, one of the key things the HSE, the Health and Safety Executive, did for the fire service is that they said no firefighter or incident commander would be ever judged according to their actions based on information they didn't have at the time. And I think organizations out there need to really embrace that thought as well when looking at project management. I don't want to stray too far off of our topic here of strategic thinking, but if you're going to look back at a program or project and say what went well, what didn't go well, you can only judge it if you've got a clear picture of what the information was at the time. So how does that relate here? So if I say I've got strategy, I've got this, and I've been updating my business case as I go along, I've been updating all of my documentation, my RAID logs and all these pieces. I've been updating my strategy document. Now, whether you just want some sort of plan on a page that just gives your stakeholders an idea about what you're doing, you update those, you keep the past versions, you maintain your version control. And the reason is because somebody will come back to you at the end and go, this failed. Why did this fail? And you can go back and say, at the time, our strategic plan was this because we had this information. The information that led us to fail wasn't introduced into the system until later on. Now, there's a big question about why did that information come available later on and not sooner, but that's a different discussion other than you failed because you made a bad decision. You didn't make a bad decision.